If you follow all the shows that we do, you should know by now that the golem of ancient Jewish lore is nothing more than a corporation. That's what the golem is. They would make these contracts on clay. So therefore, a corporation was made of clay because they would write it on clay. They would then bake it, and then that was the contract. That's why we have the terms breaking the contract, is because the contracts used to be clay, and when you owed money on a debt, they would mark it down and different types of writing. You can go even back to cuneiform, which writes well in clay, and that would be the terms of the contract, the mortgage that you owed. And when you made the last payment, they would break the contract. They would destroy it. It would be the end of it. And it's the same way with golem. When you've fulfilled the terms, the power of the golem can be taken away with truth. So these principles of making agreements and contracts can get you into trouble, can make you a surety for debt and then pass that surety for debt on to your children. So you can curse your children with these contracts. And one of the ways to establish these contracts is through benefits. And of course, this is why in the Ten Commandments it tells you to make no covenant with them and not to covet your neighbor's goods. And if you make a covenant with them that allows you to covet your neighbor's goods, in other words, get stuff that belong to your neighbor that they can forcefully take from your neighbor and give to you, you are in violation of the Ten Commandments. And of course, you've all done that across the board around the world because you've missed the allegory and metaphor of the simplicity of the Ten Commandments. And you've all applied for benefits from men who exercise authority one over the other to obtain those benefits at the expense of your neighbor. That's taking a bite out of your neighbor through these systems of government and constitutional orders, etc. Somebody was asking me last night about the 1871 Act, and of course I've written about it. I've mentioned it in the Free Church Report and the repercussions of the 1871 Act. And people say, oh, the 1871 Act created a corporation. The United States was a corporation already. I mean, you read the Constitution, it is a corporate charter. I mean, it has the rules, it unites people, e pluribus unum kind of thing. And that's what a corporation is, two or more people gathered together under a pre-existing authority. The authority is established by the signatures of the people who sign on to the agreement. And in that agreement, they become an entity, the United States. Whether you want to say, the Constitution for the United States or of the United States, basically the Constitution is creating a body politic. And that's a corporation in nature. It's a natural corporation. Now, the most natural corporation is the family. Two or more people, no more twain, gathered as one. Very simple concepts. Once you get these simple concepts, now you can talk about statutory corporations. What meets statutory requirements? Okay, statutory means that somebody made a statute, a regulation, a rule to terms of an agreement were established. Well, a statutory corporation under whose statutes? Statutes of the United States. If you incorporate under the statutes of the United States, through the states, all other previous incorporation is null and void as if it did not happen. This was passed in, guess what? 1871. So all these things are connected. You've already lost the war for liberty. The Great Reset that they're talking about is supposedly going to end private property. There is no private property except within a legal system. You don't actually get title to land when you buy it. You have a legal title, but in the definition of legal title, it does not include ownership. So, now, a lot of people haven't heard that and they'll say, that's absurd, that's crazy, I own it, I paid for it. No, you didn't pay for it, you do not own it in the true sense of ownership. You have a legal title, that's within the statutory system. The statutory system of what? Of the states. The states are of what? The states aren't sovereign anymore. The states are all revenue sharing. If you take the benefit, you are now go under the authority. This principle is repeated over and over again.